Hi Seekers, again coming at you with another choice topic. In this video, we will be discussing religion and mainstream views. Now this topic can be very controversial, but I personally believe that the true depth of religion is never discussed as it should be in the world today. Hundreds of years ago, if you were to even question the church, you would be arrested and branded as a witch. But times have changed and people are much more tolerant than they used to be. And although it's still often looked down upon in most groups, we are now free to question religion. Hell, that's how some people make a living nowadays. Now before I continue, there's one thing I want to get straight. I am in no way bashing religion in this video. That's not what I'm trying to do here. In fact, I consider myself a very religious person. I was born and raised Catholic. And as I tell other Christians that I come across, the only difference between me and them is that I ask questions, which is how this whole spiritual New Age movement started in the first place. Some people who were born and raised religious decided to ask questions. Hundreds of years ago, people were afraid of asking questions due to being persecuted by the church. It was either follow or be killed. But humanity has greatly evolved since then, and people learned tolerance. As our freedom grew, more and more people began to ask questions. People began to see that some things we had been taught by our religion didn't quite make sense. We needed to know why. There had to be more to the story that was being left out. And the major thing that forced me to ask why, the thing which makes everyone question their religion, was that despite working so hard to follow the rules of the Bible, I was still living a shitty life, yet those around me who were not as religious were actually living better lives than mine. Their lives were good and loving. I even remember how bad I had it growing up in a devout Christian home. My mother strictly raised us to fear God and praise Him at every moment of our lives. Yet while we were working so hard to follow our religion, we struggled in all aspects of our life. Now, I'm not saying following religion is a bad thing. I'm just saying that it isn't wrong to ask questions, which is the only thing that changed in my beliefs. If everything happens for a reason, I needed to know what that reason was. The same answers many of you see. Otherwise, you wouldn't be wasting your time watching my videos. Now to go more in depth in this, I'm going to break this down into two topics. The two reasons that people choose to follow their religion. Reason 1, conditioning. Religion is something that most are born into. From a very young age, they are taught by their family to worship as well as the laws of that religion. Religion usually becomes a staple of that person's life, with all of their life events surrounding it. Their religion becomes where they find happiness and love. It becomes the basis of their entire being, with every aspect from their jobs to their communities surrounded by it. People never question it because they never have a reason to. They see the wonders and miracles brought into their lives by religion and adopt its simple moral values. But not only seeing the grace of their own lives, but also seeing it in the lives of their peers, the others in their community who share their beliefs, who work with them to help the community build a solid foundation based off of that religion. And as for people who choose not to follow mainstream religions, like me, and I do plan to use myself as an example for this entire video, because I am the perfect example of how, given the right circumstances, even the most devout person can change their religious views. Yes, I was raised in a devout Christian community, and if you would have told me 10 years ago that my beliefs would one day drastically change, I would have passionately denied it. I've had a loving mother who took us to church every Sunday. We would pray together as a family every night. Hell, I even witnessed miracles myself when I was young. However, I didn't exactly have a perfect childhood growing up. The best way to describe what me and my siblings went through is the lyrics of the song Wonderful by Everclear. Love that song because, given my childhood, it really resonates with me. And despite my mother going above and beyond as a devout Catholic woman and doing all that she could to teach us, the lives we lived greatly contradict everything we were taught, which is part of the case for most people whose beliefs evolve. Now, as I said, people with happy lives have no reasons to question their religion because everything is working out. But it's really hard to live your life by something when after decades of trying, you never get any validation that you're on the right track. In my case, it was always the opposite. The second reason people choose to follow their religion is the most common: fear and reward. Religion does a great job at controlling people through fear. If you don't follow a certain path or be a certain way, bad things will happen to you. Rather it be bad things always happening to you in your life, or the thought of an eternity suffering in hell, but also the promises of reward. You can get that dream job you've always wanted, or find your soulmate, or get that Jaguar XT in your driveway. All you have to do is pray and sometimes donate. Plant your seeds and watch them grow into great things. Now, I'm not saying this is false. All I can do is testify based off of my own experiences. Because for some people, despite praying every night, donating, and making the sacrifices, their life still feels more like a punishment. It's really hard for someone who thinks logically to keep with what they've been taught if, again, all they get are contradictions, which causes them to jump onto the first path that offers them answers. But who's to say religion can't give us the answers we seek? Again, I'm not here to speak out against religious beliefs. I'm just saying that the world is evolving, and with that, the way we perceive ourselves and the universe. In fact, even the mainstream religions have multiple sets of itself, like many denominations of Christianity, each believing that their way is the only way. As this world begins to change and evolve, the religious beliefs of people become more and more open. Like now, how the big three are beginning to recognize each other as following the right path. Rather than seeing each other as misguided, they're beginning to see each other as multiple sides of the same coin. In fact, many of the people I read cards for are devout Christians. One pair even told me that they believed that I had been given a gift from God and that I was doing God's work by helping people with it. Things such as the tarot cards were seen as evil in the past, as another way of the church keeping their people from straying away. But now in this new world, where more and more people are beginning to awaken, these things are being accepted more and more. So whether you're a devout believer or still just trying to find the right path, know this: only you can decide your path. Don't allow yourself to be influenced or intimidated. All you can do is try your best to be a good person and do right by this world, no matter what you have to follow or what you have to do to bring the light. As long as you're helping others and using your experiences for good, you are truly on the right path. And if you put out positive energy, it will return to you tenfold.